Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you with a update on my Black Friday a WWE shop unboxing. We're going to be taking a look at the very best of WCW Volume 3, the Blu-ray. This came out a few months ago. Very nice cover showing off a bunch of the stars of the WCW Nitro era with Booker T, Bret Hart, Chris Jericho, Sting, and Ric Flair looking back at us. Honestly, I thought that WCW Monday Nitro Volume 1 was a very, very good set. Very showed the highs of Monday Nitro with lots of debuts, lots of big matches, lots of classic matches that you still remember to date. WCW Monday Nitro Volume 2 to me took big, huge leaps backwards. Lots of matches showing off the sort of the I guess you can say the minuses or the things that really made WCW lose steam, and that's a lot of run-ins, a lot of DQs, a lot of countouts. Not as many good quality matches on there. So honestly, when this was announced, I sort of told myself this is one that I wasn't going to pick up. I told myself that you can wait for a good sale and find it that way. The best match that was on Volume 2 in my book was Goldberg versus Sting, and that was a Blu-ray exclusive that was on that one. So we'll take a look in here and see what's going down. We've got Sting on the disc 1. We've got Ric Flair on disc 2. Who you looking at, fat boy? That's what I'm talking about. Pop this bad boy off, and let's see what we got going on in the match selections here. We've got Lex Luger versus Macho Man. I remember that from watching the first episodes of Nitro when it first got put onto the network. We got Johnny B. Bad versus Eddie Guerrero, television championship match. Sting and DDP. Ric Flair versus the Macho Man. Sherry versus Medusa. Sting versus Steiner. NWO kicks out the Giant. The one thing that comes to my mind as I'm going through all of these, I know that when WCW Monday Nitro Volume 1 came out, it was a very big success, and people weren't really expecting that, and that's why Volume 2 came out, and they've sold so much, that's why Volume 3 has come out. But wouldn't it be nice if these were like sort of in order, and like you had a best of 95, a best of 96, a best of 97? I know that's a dream, but maybe when you watch these, they'd be a little bit more in order of what is going down. Then we got DDP chases Randy Savage, Luger versus Nash, Giant and DDP versus Harlem Heat, Jericho versus Juventud Guerrero. We've got the Scott Steiner versus Macho Man Randy Savage. Then we go to a tag team championship match of the Outsiders against DDP and Lex Luger, DDP against Stevie Richards, NWO takes over Monday Nitro, Eddie Guerrero and Chris Jericho versus Chavo and Dean Malenko. NWO attempts to recruit Rick Steiner. The Giant tosses Scott Hall into a pool. Juventud Guerrero versus Billy Kidman. Macho Man versus Hulk Hogan in a championship match of 98, which means Savage is doing the job. We've got Lex Luger joins the Wolf Pack. Hulk Hogan calls out Karl Malone and DDP. Billy Kidman versus Scott Hall. DDP versus Canyon. Bret Hart challenges DDP. Goldberg versus Bam Bam versus Kevin Nash in a triangle match. I remember that. I'm not remembering that it was great. I just remember watching it back in the day. Flip over onto disc 2. We got Bret Hart versus Booker T. Goldberg versus Ric Flair. Hogan versus DDP. We've got Sting versus Macho Man Randy Savage. Sandman versus Rick Steiner. Hollywood Hogan and Sting versus Kevin Nash and Sid Vicious. Medusa versus Mona. Sting, well, that would be Molly Holly if you didn't know. Sting versus Bret Hart. Then we go Booker T versus Mike Awesome. Then we've got 3 Count versus the Young Dragons versus Marching Dragon Sean O'Hare. Booker T and DDP versus Scott Steiner and Rick Steiner. I didn't know the Steiners reunited. Well, I guess because they were part of that Magnificent 7 or whatever it was with Ric Flair at the end. Maybe I was supposed to go all the way to the bottom there. Scott Hall versus Sid. versus Bret Hart. Texas Tornado ladder match for the WCW United States Championship with special guest referee Kevin Nash. That's where Nash just basically hands the belt to Hall. Jarrett versus Bret Hart for the World Championship. Then we've got, say, Sting and Vampiro? I don't remember them ever teaming up. I thought they hated each other. Sting and Vampiro versus Lex Luger and Ric Flair. Blu-ray exclusives will go Hall and Six versus Steiner Brothers. Ric Flair confronts Bret Hart. Somebody versus Raven. Bret Hart versus Lex Luger. Bret Hart versus Hollywood Hogan. NWO Wolfpack flips NWO Hollywood's limo. Jeff Jarrett versus Sting. Jeff Jarrett versus Scott Steiner versus Kevin Nash versus Goldberg. Four corners match for the WCW World Heavyweight Championship. And that sounds like a fun one as a main event. Now there we see the back there with the good old DDP yoga going on. Young Dragons. See Bret Hart, Sid Vicious, Goldberg, Hollywood Hogan, Sting, Macho Man. There's the NWO hanging out at Club La Vila. Nothing much here on the back. DDP, the very best of Monday Nitro, Volume 3. NWO, Goldberg, Sting, Ric Flair, Eddie Guerrero, Chris Jericho, Nitro, and WCW. I only remember Eddie Guerrero being mentioned on the back of this thing one time. I can only remember one of the matches I said in there. But that's it. Check this bad boy out and let you know what I think.